We are live. This is the market update. If you watch this show, I will tell you what you should do now. Is this parabolic going to stop in Bitcoin? Hint, no. For the first time ever since I've been using LuxAlgo, something actually went through the premium zone to the point where it reset, the top being 120. Now, if Bitcoin has a shot at 120, what happens to altcoins? Very simply, all the profits from Bitcoin start flooding into alts. What alts should you buy? Stay tuned for that. Patreon Platinum got information on the top altcoins last night. Patreon, the VIP guys, the 6th Street crypto folks, just got a day trading plan for the next 5 days. Also available to Platinum users. And ace analyst Toby Ward did live picks this morning on the YouTube member area. Now, there are several things coming together all at once here. The first is, even though approval ratings are down, the fact that everything is at all-time highs reflects the need for Fed rate cuts or the inevitability of Fed rate cuts. 1. 2, you have Made in America Crypto Week coming up. I'm surprised it took this long for the market to wake up after Garlinghouse from Ripple testified in front of the Senate. Simply, you can look for favorable tax treatment for American-made cryptos or talk of that. I prefer it be done, but there could be talk of that. There are also going to be major private sector announcements, right? Partnerships, real-world assets. And then, of course, there's the plain Jane fact of the matter. Stablecoins have to run on fast layer ones. How do you see that happening in a world where altcoins are dead? It's impossible, right? In other words, if you have Bitcoin moving the way it is in, frankly, a supply shock fashion, right? There's no supply. Michael Saylor wanted to buy 2 days ago, and I've been saying it and saying it and saying it. Market makers couldn't knock the market down. That's been the modus operandi for months, right? Knock the market down, buy all the Bitcoin, and then sell it to Michael Saylor at the highs. Not happening this time. So they have to go to the market, and you see what happens when they just have to straight up and down FOMO in, right? It moves 10% like that. There was no volume in the market a week ago. Everyone was like, well, this is dead, right? Now, there's also been a huge amount of volume traded in a confined space in both ETH and XRP futures. What does that mean? That means the institutional stock market investors are coming. And which coin could go absolutely, totally parabolic? Coin that's probably near and dear to your heart already. And I can't believe it hasn't gone. We'll cover that during the stream. All right, let's welcome who's here. Let's welcome who's here. All the loyal Spartans. Alexandra from Europe, welcome. Bull Runner, Gavin Busby, hammering away with those emojis. $4.99 to get you priority. On comments, Live It 351. When start, dude? Right now. Got a lot of spam in the comments. We were cleaning it out. That's why we were late. Guess that's a sign we've arrived. Hal Lopez up in the middle of the night in Portugal. Tango FN, Crypto Tilly. Something's cooking over at GME. Ooh. Watch out. Christopher 3000. GF. Caminilla, a member. Felix. Right? Bull Runner, our friends. Calvin. DNT Saver. The Great Santini, good evening. Lee J, full moon today. Not surprised. We've been all over this. Again, Patreon Platinum, Patreon VIP, YouTube member area. Oh my God. Publishing our butts off. Thank God. Right before this took off. Thank God. right? We had DPIN. We had top picks for top altcoin picks in general, like made in the USA. And if you don't know what to do, I put it in both tiers. I put in some new altcoins just now. We'll go over one or two of them. T-Bone Easy Eats, what's up? Kong Hi Her. Hey, been a minute. Diego, a member. Just remember, especially with all these bots, $4.99 gets you an emoji next to your name. Priority for comments. So make sure you check that out. Now, look at this. This creeping number. Former Commerce Secretary says institutions are buying and they're going to go up to 7% of Bitcoin in their portfolios. So at the start of this year, BlackRock's equities people, even though they have the Bitcoin ETF, they were 2% Bitcoin, 1% Bitcoin. Pension funds have not adjusted. Mutual funds have not adjusted. Why? Well, because at 77, it was radioactive, and 120, it's much more attractive. At 116, I'm putting 7% of my portfolio in. Now, to be fair, equities people love to buy high and sell higher. They love dips too, but they love to buy high and sell higher, and that's exactly what they're doing. It's absolutely insane, right? Corporates bought 159,000 Bitcoin in the second quarter. The second quarter. This is not, I don't know if this includes Michael Saylor or not, but it doesn't matter, right? The corporate buying of this stuff, and like I've always said, right? What's the corporate buying really all about? It's about getting away from fiat. The optics on this administration, the rebellion of the base, their need to do a heavy crypto pivot, is definitely here. There's also a sidebar that banks are worried that they're next on the Godfather's list for debanking him, his wife, and his family. Right? So, where are banks going to go? What are the banks going to do? Well, they're going to go where they have to go anyway. They're going to go to the ISO 2022 list, a list of coins that they are required to sort of integrate, right, for better electronic payments. XRP at the top. Stellar, a dark horse. Cardano, Hedera, IOTA, XDC, Algorand, QNT. Where are the banks going? Where they should have to go anyway. Toby has top picks off this list in the YouTube member area. She was hot. I was droning on about the premium zone in Bitcoin. So much for that. She was like, no, whatever, big boy. The woman's just never wrong, right? She has two favorites out of that list. Two you might not think about. So you should check that out. Now, for me, for today, I'm thinking Algorand. I'm thinking security tokens. I'm thinking layer ones. I'm thinking there's going to be announcements across these coins. Because what better weeks for announcements than during crypto weeks? And what better time for banks to frankly kiss up to the administration than start making crypto announcements? Like one after the other after the other. I mean, like, you know, Uniswap was a huge coin. I could not get our GAN model off Uniswap. Boom. Right? That model that makes up the platinum area and even the 6th Street Crypto Spartans, you know, I'm giving them like a day trading plan that comes out of that model. I mean, that model, just as a hint, that model is actually assuming much bigger intraday volatility now that the market has broken out with, you know, perhaps too much intraday volatility. Because the thing that's funny about the model, and again, you know, with anything, you have to read the signals. If the model thinks it could go lower, it did go lower like 3 days ago, but not enough. Not enough for people to get their Bitcoin to sell to Michael Saylor. And then, rightly so, it expected to move after the dip to 114, which is basically where we're at and then some today. So I updated that plan. And essentially, it wants to buy any flush it can for 120. And if you want to find out what 120 means to Toby, you definitely want to tune in. Not to mention the fact that last night, I think his name is Ian Carroll, dark hair, mustache, did like an hour-and-a-half presentation on robots and AI. Somewhat hard to listen to, definitively depressing. So if you want to talk about AI and you want to talk about crypto, crypto is the path to prosperity in the AI age, period. And the price action today reflects that, obviously, right? And then, of course, if you want to read about what a group of hackers do to push back against artificial superintelligence and a hedge fund, and you want to put a smile on your face while you watch your crypto go up, or you want to put a smile on your face while you're brave enough to jump in. Because as my boss at Goldman would say, buy breakouts. By the way, this is a science fiction book written by Toby Ward that'll help you learn or at least understand the future of AI and crypto. Like Grok 4 yesterday. Elon says Grok 4 is essentially artificial general intelligence, which makes the machine smarter than a PhD in every single subject in the world. Cheery stuff. Cheery stuff, unless you're in crypto or you know the future. Check that out. So you got a lot of forces coming together here. A lot of forces coming together. Right? And frankly, this hasn't even started. Right? I'm gonna show you. Right? I have my historical pattern matching system. I know some people will be overjoyed that PowerPoint is back. Okay, so this is XRP. This is a pattern match from a couple days ago. So up here, it has a 92% match between, this blue graph, which was essentially the moonshot off the election, and this recent awful consolidation, which is in red. And this dotted line here is where they match up. This shows XRP being like 10 days away from a vertical up move. So they can do it at the beginning of crypto week. They can do it at the end of crypto week. It's a countdown in XRP. It's a countdown to vertical. And guess what? In Solana, it ain't going to take 10 days, right? That match is right here. And essentially, this shows like one final dip and maybe, right? That may be over because of the extent that Solana has underperformed. But you see this structure where it's like this slump that we've had, this slump that they had, right? They had a false breakout and then boom. And in the case of Solana, Solana and ETH and XRP could just go completely vertical, as well as all the other American-made cryptos, which, again, we covered in the YouTube Platinum area, like extensively, right? Crypto Week preview. There are your symbols. Altcoins to the moon, the American alt season. Market update with an attachment on a day trading plan. So there was a double link there. I don't normally do that, but I just had to get it out while it was hot. And you know what? I didn't even get to put Solana in the reports because I found this pattern match 5 minutes before the stream. I was like, oh my God, this is going up. This is going up, and it's going up a lot. Why? Because it's been dead. So explain to me, first of all, okay, you did have an emotional top, and you did have a decline. Why? What was the decline about? You had another decline here. What was that about? Was that about a geopolitical event? What was that about? I don't think anyone can tell me. I don't remember. I don't know. Yeah, okay, you had an emotional top. Fine. Okay, great. Now what? So what? Now what? You missed it? So what? Now what? Now what? Well, now what is Solana? Now, so what? Now what is ETH? So what? Now what is the ISO 20022 coins, right? Anything that has had a catalyst, right? So, I mean, again, we got all the coins you need over here. Toby picks a bunch of small coins, you know, Clearpool up 10%. That was a pick from 3 weeks ago. Not 3 weeks ago, three podcasts ago. Forget about it. Are you going to get in front of real world assets or DeFi in front of this move, right? BlackRock is now buying more Ethereum than Bitcoin. They're buying more Ethereum and Bitcoin. And just for fun, Uncle Sugar is coming. This is like RRPs at the New York Fed, fast approaching zero as Treasury resumes borrowing spree. The amount of money at the Fed for like emergency loans or just the amount of money in general that the Uncle Sugar has, they got to start borrowing money. They got to start borrowing money at the same time that the Fed, Powell either has to cut rates or quit, especially after Prime Day. Like when we saw Prime Day yesterday, there were two things yesterday that are on the I told you so list. One, Brian Armstrong came out with a picture of him and an American flag in a tweet and said, let's get this done. That was hint number one, that this, like, you know, make everything legal and hopefully something about made in America cryptos. It's not priced in. Nothing has been priced in because everybody was like, it's winter, it's despair, it's over. I mean, I'm serious. It was winter despair over 2 days ago. I have an unbelievable example, which I'll keep close to the vest. Unbelievable examples of people throwing in the towel and getting negative. Powell has to cut rates at the exact moment where you had a Bitcoin supply shock and all coins are so undervalued, most of them haven't even broken out yet. The only thing that I think is really broken out is SUI, right? Which we'll go over, right? Which, by the way, if you were in the Patreon group, we got guys in the Patreon group who are so sophisticated, they're telling you what they're buying, right? And they're like their own mini hedge funds unto themselves. So I got my research, they got their research. I mean, if you just listen to the comments on like the VIP live streams or, you know, in Patreon chat room where you can talk to me directly, dude. I mean, look, you need research. You don't have to buy my research. I would be happy if you did, but you got to get research. You got to get a coin. You got to get in the game now, right? Now, right? The equity market is hip to all this. BIT mining surges 250% on Solana pivot. So if you're following along here, okay, the equity market is more bullish on crypto than crypto is bullish on crypto. How crazy banana pants is that? The stock market people are like, oh my God, yeah, crypto, let's go. You know, 2.5x, whoosh. And that's just Solana. Solana has a staking ETF, and I didn't even realize this. The liquid staking tokens in the Solana universe got hammered because apparently they think that everybody is going to go own the ETF and stake over there. This, like the fact that you can stake Solana, right? Solana comes off the market. Solana goes into the ETF. I mean, it goes into the ETF and it gets locked away. It gets locked away. Okay. Daniel J. here from the West Jersey Shore. Okay. Welcome, sir. Joe Robbins, a member for 6 months. What do you like in AI? Okay. Well, we have extensive DPIN analysis. This is the super intelligence token. That's the big dog. It's up 6% today. Can you tell? Can you tell from looking at the graph? I mean, Toby like put her best friend, you know, goes to a, you know, cocktail hour and was like, what should I do? It's like, read my book and buy Fetch. That's what she said. Right. You know, Did you know, we covered this yesterday, that AKT, Akash, is an American-made crypto? LuxAlgo put the buy signal in yesterday. Hello. Share screen. Okay. Akash. LuxAlgo buy signal in yesterday. You're wondering what this white line is. That's the 200-day moving average. This is how suppressed altcoins are. So you have an American-made crypto in the AI DePIN space that's 41% away from its 200-day moving average or its long-term mean. Okay. TAO, noticing something? All the resistance is gone. The premium zone in Bitcoin busted. Never seen it. Doing LuxAlgo for like a year. Never seen that in any instrument. TAO is taking out the 200-day moving average. The pink LuxAlgo resistance lines that were there yesterday are not there anymore. And a lot of times what will happen is, it'll go up. You'll get some kind of small pause after the signal. It can last anywhere from 1 to 3 days. And then boom, off to the races. Like nothing, because remember, you have this going on. Like this kind of volatility, which is what our GAN model is picking up. Right? The GAN model thinks that the energy could be intraday ranges. I guess that's possible. But it could also be that you've got this suppression and these head and shoulders bottoms in the AI sector, which, by the way, are everywhere. We looked at a couple of these things like decentralized cloud this morning. Dude, these big plays. Like, we have these coins, but I think in some ways it's okay to do them on the free stream. I mean, if you look at Render, right? Render up 8% today. Okay, that's nice. Can you tell? Really? Does it look like it's up 8%? Of course it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. Interesting. Like it's these things have 10 and 15% to go before they get anywhere near like, virtual. This is when it got listed on Binance. 62% retracement. If it recovers to 38% retracement, even if it's up 15%, dude, it's just smoking. Absolutely freaking smoking. Okay, so we've launched into the live TA component. Let's just keep going because you're going to want to stick around because, again, the altcoin picture has changed. It has changed, and we discussed this yesterday. Do you have any idea what happens here if altcoins break out above $1 trillion? This is total altcoin market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, I said this yesterday, right? First time listening, great show. Nick Stocks, what are you thoughts on Ethereum? Dude, coming up right now. Welcome to new viewers. Viewers who have been here, we appreciate your viewership. Don't forget to hit the like button. I'm trying to get to 200 likes on a stream. Smash that button. Do you realize that altcoins as a group could go up another 10%? As another 10%. That's like the group. Led by, of course, it's got to be Solana and XRP. Okay, ETH. Wow, we're just having a laugh here in ETH. You want to know what's unbelievable in ETH? Other than the fact that it stopped everybody out, went sideways, and did this. Da, da, da. You don't have to read a chart book, folks. I just saved you the time of having to learn about a diamond. Like the diamond bottom is one of the most powerful formations that there is. Better than flags, better than triangles. Maybe not as good as the upward sloping accumulation cone. But ETH on one of these things, 3,500 minimum. What's going to stop this? If you go to the DeMark work on ETH, right? Normally you're looking for some kind of reversal. Like here, you had the 9 bottom kind of in classic fashion. So in the work of Tom DeMark, you have 13 bottoms. You count a certain set of conditions 13 times and look for a reversal. 9 bottoms can be similar, although, you know, they have a little twist we won't talk about. What do we got in ETH here? 1, 2, 3. So if there's a dip, it should be tomorrow, but 6 more up days right through crypto week. Then people can decide whether or not they got what they wanted, but where the heck is it going to be? And I said this yesterday or 2 days ago. It's like, look, they're going to price everything in before crypto week. They're going to do the strategic Bitcoin reserve. They're going to price in the American-made cryptos and the tax treatment. They're going to just do it. And that's the story. That is the story. Right. Full moon tonight. Does that have anything to do with it? Okay. So we've been covering this literally ad nauseum because part of what our GAN model does in Patreon Platinum is use a custom model that I created so that, you know, this unbelievably complicated GAN work could be distilled down into, okay, what coins you want to buy, what events are there. You know, there recently was a Neptune event that created volatility, which we had. There's a Saturn event. There's a Saturn event where, in my opinion, Saturn, the way it was moving was suppressing altcoins. That's how I look at it. Then in a couple of days, Saturn is going to start moving in a direction. It's going to reverse the suppression on speculative assets. That's why we were in there going, buy. Toby was just like, shop. I mean, I couldn't even look at the table. I'm like, oh my God, it's like red. Looks like a Stephen King book. It's like bleeding all over my screen. She's like, no, just shop. That's part of it. That's her abilities, right? That's her abilities. And the fact that Saturn is changing. And so is a huge planet called Uranus, you call it what you want. These things are making huge shifts. Communication, changes in technology like degen and things like that. And again, we came up with these whole lists. Then, as the caller just noted, there is a special type of full moon going on at the same time. Now, in my sort of voodoo world, you know, it's called the black moon or the buck moon, excuse me. So it's an unusual type. It's low riding in the sky. The GAN model takes these things and puts them together. And really what it came through for was kind of like volatility. It wanted down and then up. We got a little down and major up. Major. And I got altcoin picks, like what I put in the 6th Street crypto area just before the show and what I got into Platinum Premium like in the middle of the night. This is happening, right? In other words, altcoins, the suppression is gone. That's the bottom line. That's why we got long AF. Okay, deep. Crypto Crazy with the super chat. I appreciate all my members. You'll also note that the guys that super chat are the guys that are members. It's literally the ultimate testimonial. It's like, Bill, thank you. We'd be happy to give you money, and we're going to go on the stream and give you more money. Feel free to support the channel. Remember, you can become a member for $4.99, or you can subscribe and get the research for at least 40% less than what a lot of these other private groups, because the YouTube member area gives you an AMA capability in addition to live picks, which I don't know that anyone does. No one does that. No one does it accurately like she does. I mean, it's unbelievable. She introduces herself. She goes, hi, I'm Toby from 2050. Let me tell you why you need to be in crypto and what you need to get into. And we got a cool beach book too. Okay, deep. LuxAlgo buy signals coming in. You know, again, this feels a lot like suppression, right? Just People are like, I can't get involved on the upside. I can give you all these reasons why it's going up. The question you have to ask yourself in your mind was, why was it down to begin with? Does anybody remember? I mean, maybe it was because the Fed was too tight and they have to wake up. Maybe it's because NVIDIA is worth $4 trillion. Let me get this on the screen. Maybe it's because NVIDIA was worth $4 trillion. The market just decided there was a different valuation for risk assets because the Fed has to come in. Tariffs are technically bad news. They were supposedly creating a recession. Now the market's like ignoring it. Ignoring it. If it doesn't go down on bad news, what's it going to do? It's going to go up. It's going to go up. Toby has a magic number in Bitcoin, which frankly this morning I thought was crazy. I mean, you know, she says 120. DeMark doesn't have any resistance in Bitcoin until 135. Like, are you going to get in front of this thing? Who is going to get in front of this thing? Honestly, nobody. Now, let's try something a little bit more serious, shall we? Why do you need crypto? Well, because it's going up. Okay. Why is it going up? Because you need to be a sovereign individual. Antivirus, $3.8 million market cap. Okay. Kind of like privacy, rebel against the system. A critic of French President Macron found deceased in his home. Barack wants to control the power and define facts. We want diversity of opinion. We don't want diversity of facts. Good luck figuring out the facts, considering every tweet on X, the first comment is Grok, at Grok, is this true? In which case, Grok diverts back to NBC News, but whatever. Really? You want to control the facts, huh? I'm going to buy Bitcoin instead. You don't have to buy antivirus. I'm going to buy an antivirus, but you know, you got to buy something, right? Because these characters, these suppressors, they're out there. And it's the right and the left, right? The Bureau reportedly contacting media outlets says back off about the files or lose access to the administration. That sounds like something Brandon would do, or whoever was running it under Brandon. It seems the Middle Eastern head of state is not exactly happy that Grok 4 sounded like Nick F. I can't even say his name. Right? Oh, you got to shut this off. Shut this off. No, I don't think so. Right? So, I mean, it's out there. They are out there. The FOMO into crypto, it could be about crypto week. It also could be about sovereign ineptitude, or people just looking at fiat in general, finally, and just going, you know what? It doesn't matter until it does, and today it matters. Boom. Literally right on time for the Gann work. I mean, again, the Gann model had 114. Frankly, it over-exaggerated the ranges. I was like, well, okay, well, I don't think it's going to go down as much as you think it does. And it's like blew through the 114 target. I had to do the whole day trading roadmap again, which I released for both tiers right before this came out. I mean, the Gann model does, will give you like day trading plans for a period of days. And so far, it's been spot on. Spot on. Okay. Someone's looking for render. We did it. We'll do it again. Oh, actually, you know how we'll do this? Because I did this 2 days ago. Okay, so Bitcoin up a lot today. But render versus BTC is straight down. Everything versus BTC is straight down. No, we're saying that the only AI trade out there is NVIDIA. Look at this. Boom. It's a total crash. Like if alts caught up to Bitcoin, forget that. What happens if alts like Render just retrace half? I mean, that's not unreasonable, right? It's not unreasonable. They just retrace half. And what was this all about? Right? Oh, alts are never gonna, right? We've been waiting for this. It's time. You're right. It is, man. It so is. And there's stuff going on. Oh God, crypto equities, man. You got some of these things up 3% and 4%, and these characters in MicroStrategy are going to get absolutely blown out. They're going to get blown out. You got guys short this and long Bitcoin. Okay, they're doing good on long Bitcoin, but what happens if this just totally explodes? Totally explodes, right? I mean, how can NASDAQ be up here? How can NASDAQ be up here? I mean, finally, Bitcoin made the new all-time high and followed NASDAQ. What about the rest of the market, right? If you go back over here, and we covered this yesterday, but if you're new and you haven't seen it, you got to cover it again, right? Look at like others. No, actually, forget others. I have something else. There we go. Okay. So layer one market cap. Believe it or not, the market cap of layer ones as a whole is ready to make a new high. That's interesting, don't you think? Here's AI as an asset class. So the market cap of all the AI coins, not even above the 200-day moving average. Not even above the 200-day moving average. Others, the bigger the base, the higher into space. This is altcoins minus the top 10. So you take all the big coins out. This is essentially mid caps. Breaking out today, unwinding the geopolitical trade after boring you. And again, this is bull markets, right? Bull markets get you out. First, they get you in. Then they get you out. Boredom or declines. Then you get bearish. Then you get short. Then you get squeezed. Then you hesitate. And this was me. Then you take profits too early. Now, there's an old Wall Street saying. Fortunes are made by buying low and selling too early. That said, Bitcoin went like, $5,000, $6,000, blew what I thought was going to be ironclad resistance to have everything go and switch over to alts. I can handle that, right? Because, you always hold a part of your position. But again, can you really stop this market now? Can you stop it, right? If you look at total 2, okay, total 2 is total crypto market cap without Bitcoin. And this was a bird on a wire getting ready to fly, right? Little snap the glove on, do a check. Trade terrible, but sitting on the moving average, and then boom, LuxAlgo flips today. DeFi Perp just climbing itself back above the 200-day moving average. I mean, you got to ask yourself, you got to remember, what is the 200-day moving average? It's like the long-term mean, meaning it's like if something goes back to like its average or its equilibrium, most of these instruments are not anywhere near their premium zone or equilibrium. Not even close. Like ETH, not even close to equilibrium. I'm going to draw this on the fly. Okay. So DeFi Perp just took out the 200-day moving average. It's currently at 711. The premium zone, because it's been in a range, is all the way up at 823. Like, you don't even talk about a pullback. Okay, Avalanche is at like equilibrium and nowhere's near the 200-day moving average. And by the way, did you know Avalanche was an American-made crypto? Oh, share screen. Did you know Avalanche was an American-made crypto? Did you know Avalanche was on the books of World Liberty? Up 8% on back-to-back days to its balance point. 200-day moving average is at 23. It's currently at 20. Everything is going back to its 200-day moving average, and everything that's above the 200-day moving average is going to its premium zone. Period. Period. Okay, request coming in. Toby. Okay, so we're off to the races at the casino. Good. Good. My attitude is get this thing going by any means necessary. Get it going. And every meme coin is going to look like this. Now, the way I would chart these things is, you know, bag holders always get out on the first rally. So the way you have to do this, I think, in meme coins is you have to say, okay, these things are all going to unwind the give up trades. And this is where the start of the give up trade was, right? Final push up, die. So if that happens, then you know, if they take it out, then you know it's for real. Okay. So this is the base frog. Right? If we go to frogs, I saw baby Pepe doing something today. Grandpa Keeter, love the new platinum report, man. Should I sell my bag of Zebec today? Okay. So a word on this. If you're asking yourself, so Zebec came to an important line, a LuxAlgo trend line. And came off. Now, that's not typically unusual, but here's what I'll say. If you're asking yourself, should you get out? You've already answered the question. That's it, right? I mean, bag holders always get out on the first uptick, but if you think capital is better somewhere else, which again, it may be, you got the uptick off the lows and it failed to get back inside that pattern. Now, if it was me, I might wait 2 days. See if it comes back. I mean, you already lived with this whole decline. Give it a day because LuxAlgo flipped. A lot of times LuxAlgo will flip bullish. It'll go off. Then it'll go up. But if you're asking yourself the question, you've already answered it. You've already answered it. Isn't it funny how Arbitrum had a Robinhood partnership and nobody cared? That is one ugly diamond. But the diamond bottom is one of the most powerful formations that there is. Like ETH had the diamond as a consolidation pattern. Arbitrum has it as a bottom. I mean, Robinhood is running on Arbitrum, and it did nothing. Can you imagine, like, Robinhood runs on Arbitrum when it was the FOMO cycle in January? Oh, my God, it would have gone up 50%. You got what? You got like an 11% move today, 4 days after the announcement. How many days? 3, 4 days? At least. You know, and the DeFi coins won't stop going up. Like syrup is coming off because I think a lot of the money is flooding into the rest of the market. And Stellar, oh my God. They put support underneath the market in Stellar for the rally. I'm going to get this right. For anybody who likes LuxAlgo, you can watch me draw on the charts. Okay, Stellar puts support. LuxAlgo puts support underneath the current rally. So the buy signal in Stellar was actually 3 days ago. Nobody thinks this can go up. The last time these things went up, they called them the dino coins. You know, banks have to get involved in this. It's not optional. They have to get involved. There's been zero talk about this. How is this not going up when the orange man is allegedly after the banks? Decades of debanking conservatives. Right? In other words, why was it down? I don't know. Geopolitical event, that was over. If there's another geopolitical event, you're not going to have to worry about it, I think, until after this market has ramped. They're not going to, nobody's going to disrupt the orange man's crypto rally with where his approval went over this law enforcement issue. No way. Right? This is going to go and go and go and go. And then after it gets stupid, then maybe you have to worry about it, but not now. Coins that banks have to get involved with. Did I mention Solana? Did I mention it? ETH massively suppressed. Like they had to take ETH down to the 2017 high at 1,400. So it got ridiculous on the downside. Is it absurd to think that ETH could turn around and get ridiculous on the upside? No one has thought about this. Then there's the idea about retail participation. This is a very interesting tweet. In my opinion, it takes an all-time high in ETH before retail really FOMOs back in. 300,000 followers. In other words, do you have any idea how much upside is in this market if ETH is going to make a new high and then retail is going to FOMO in? Because retail is completely massively long NVIDIA and stocks. And, you know, you have real froth over there, like real froth. Meanwhile, oh my God, this thing is breaking out from the ground up. I mean, SUI up 11%. SUI was a leadership coin, right? It started with Bitcoin Cash. Now it's going to SUI. Okay. Solana and ETH could follow. Like if Bitcoin gets to 120 or wherever Bitcoin is going to stop, if it stops, okay, these altcoins are just they're going to go vertical. Because again, nobody knows why they were down. They were artificially suppressed. And you have this GAN work, right? All these big planets, right? Like all these astrology apps, like the Pattern, right? They're like, oh my God, you can't believe what this means. Dude, it means a lot. A lot of it has to do with like revolution in technology and communication, right? Huge, huge shifts, especially with that full moon going on. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. We've been making a living off this in Patreon Platinum. I mean, literally, I mean, everything we freaking publish, it is about this type of work. Like it is the GAN model. Boom. It is the GAN model, man. And a lot of this is still relevant, right? The July 5th report with Uniswap smoking, DPIN, layer ones. By the way, there's also an eclipse in September, and the eclipse effects start 90 days before the eclipse. Sometimes eclipses can trade volatility. Sometimes they can create monster trends. You could have a monster move in July. You could have another monster move at the beginning of August. Gann model thinks you could have an intense volatility after crypto week. But how much FOMO has to occur before you can get intense volatility? This is like day 2. Tomorrow may be dip day. There might be sell the fact during crypto rally at the end, maybe. But again, why are altcoins down? And you got to get involved. You got to get involved because the AI future can either be super dark, like some of these presentations that you're reading, like, you know, Elon Musk in the God complex with Grok and wanting a new political party so he can be a kingmaker. Fight back. Fight back, right? It's the book and the button. There's my new tagline. The book and the button. Okay, XRP. How could I forget? You know, I think in XRP, it's pretty simple that XRP should be worth $1 trillion. At a minimum, I think they're going to take it over at 100 billion, but the market cap long-term of XRP should be $1 trillion. I mean, how many stocks that you have are trading over $1 trillion? Which is why I think this company's going to get taken over. So you're breaking out of the Gann resistance, right? XRP failed here badly. Oof. Terrible looking failure, right? Breakout, dip, come back. Bears press, boom. I don't know, man. XRP versus BTC. Don't know what it's going to show me, but let's see what it says. Right? XRP, no performance versus Bitcoin, none. XRP sat still while this whole market smoked, while Bitcoin smoked to the upside. I mean, literally. The universe giving me a hard time. Okay, here's the 13 bottom, which means in DeMark, you look for the end of the trend. This dotted line here is where you should have a selling climax, if any. So there's the bottom. There's the failed rally. And there is like 3 grotesque attempts. Again, this is versus Bitcoin. So it's like XRP underperformed. XRP disaster. Oh, okay. Perfect, lovely, rounded bottom. And XRP is down again because XRP hasn't moved because, well, it hasn't moved because there's been no catalyst, right? They can't get a catalyst going. But Brad was testifying in front of the Senate, so hopefully he has a catalyst after that. Okay, Omni from a member. The bigger the base, the higher into space. And in this particular instance, you have the downward sloping wedge. Okay, so for your TA exercise for today, what's a downward sloping wedge? You take a basketball, a fully inflated ball of any kind. You go in a pool and you push the inflated ball down below the surface. Then you let go of the ball. Not only will the ball pop to the surface, it'll pop above the surface, which is what's happening now in Omni. Now, again, will bag holders sell? Yeah, that's what it's doing now. But it's a Coinbase coin. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Coinbase coins, once normies FOMO in, once they're done with NVIDIA, okay, Ski Mask Dog most likely is back. God, what an awful give up trade in this thing. Just awful. Like you can't even chart it because honestly, It just went straight down, right? This is like a complete, total give up trade, which is going to be unwound, right? These catchy memes, especially since you got a big influencer behind this. And I don't know if this is out and trading yet. Newborn EVM layer 2 machine, Little Pepe. It's back, people. It's back. The casino is open. And again, the Treasury, the government just continues to unwind everything. It's unwinding all this stuff that people are unregistered brokers of securities, allowing DeFi to open up. They're just going to, it's so easy for the administration to just unwind everything, right? Just like, okay, well, let's unwind everything and then we'll make it legal because they own it. The Orange Man has 8% of his net worth in crypto. How does that not translate into going up? They've been, packing their bag before it goes. So what do you have here? You have a Bitcoin supply shock. You have suppressed altcoins that are getting unsuppressed based on unusual research. You have an AI narrative that is, I would call it untraded. You have a DePIN narrative, which everybody is into, which is untraded. You have a DeFi network, which people are unaware of. And you have a real world asset narrative that has nowhere to go but up, right? I mean, you don't think they're going to make announcements? You don't think that with Uncle Sugar's behavior? I mean, influencers are having a fit because they thought this time was different, and it's not. It's not, unfortunately. Right? I want to see what Clearpool is doing. And I think Big Rich was into Pendle, which I didn't chart. So Toby picked Clearpool out of the pile 2 weeks ago. Not 2 weeks ago. A week ago. Rounding bottom. This is a competitor to Syrup, which has done nothing but go up, which is actually coming off. I haven't looked at Pendle. You see, and this is what I talked about, right? Fear of resistance. What was going to happen when there's no more fear of resistance? And again, that's the relevance to the 200-day moving average. It's either way below, it hasn't gotten there yet, and when it does, everyone goes, oh no, it's resistance. And then once everybody goes, oh no, I don't care about resistance, by the time you figure that out, you turn your head this way, and there's a stampede coming for the coin. It's counterintuitive, but you had to buy. Okay. And here's Injective pressing resistance on LuxAlgo, right? Press. Tao had this. It all had it. And one thing that I said, which was a little kind of, I don't know what the word is, somewhat bull-tard, irresponsible. That resistance got put in because of the geopolitical event, which for now is over. You don't have to worry about the geopolitical event part 2 until this thing is way overextended. Are we overextended in Injective? I'll give you a little hint because I've been talking about this. I asked the GAN model, give me some layer 1s that the machines are going to use when the AI agents start trading. I mean, we got Grok 4 out with reasoning. How far away is AI agents working in DeFi? It's already a sector on Lunar Crush. And what layer 1s are they going to operate on? Well, the new ones, the fast ones. That's what. Now, of course, everything's up 8%. So yeah, it's easy to be bullish today. But there's an important message in today because it's the second up day in a row in altcoins, right? I mean, I'm looking at the Injective chart. I'm just eyeballing it. A lot of times you get like 4 up days and then it would just like peter out. Again, just let's use this as an example, right? So this was like explode, come off, right? Mini explode 5 days in a row, give up trade. What happens if there's no longer a reason in the market for this or this, unless there's a disappointment on crypto week, which is 7 days away, 8 days away? And it doesn't have to be crypto week. Maybe they just say it's all legal and crypto just goes, okay, whoosh, because it's not priced in, right? It's like, oh, crypto's an efficient market. No, it's not. I mean, I had been on this stream screaming into this microphone about the bullish catalyst that have been traded for 2 weeks. And you're going to start hearing, well, you know, crypto's a little overbought. And, you know, I don't know if I get involved and I'll wait for the dip. Dude, the dip has been the last 6 months. The dip was the geopolitical trade. You might get stability. You might get something to chill out. But again, you got a supply shock going on in Bitcoin. You got to watch out in these altcoins, man. I mean, it's very clear that they're going to be looking at 120 in Bitcoin. It's very clear. And I guess I should put that chart up. Well, first of all, let's look at the Bitcoin ETF, right? So the Bitcoin ETF is pressing its premium zone. I would have said get out and go to alts. But then Bitcoin went up 5% in my face. Right? New LuxAlgo buy signal, premium zone, like readjusted 120 at the new top. I mean, you know, Toby had a level and that, you know, it could go there. I don't know. But I still think, again, you know, when you look at ETH, premium zone in ETH for giggles is at 4,000. So ETH just took out the, and again, this makes the case, right? One thing that people don't understand, and I know I keep saying this, but the reason you haven't had any alt seasons, you haven't had any sector breakouts, like real sector breakouts inside of altcoins, is because ETH hasn't done anything. What is ETH going to do if you have DeFi summer and the banks start coming in? This has been a Toby theme. The banks. What happens when the banks start coming in? Sonic, right? That used to be Phantom. Sky, I believe it is, which used to be Maker. Uniswap, Aave. Okay. Maker, Uniswap, Aave. 3 profitable businesses that actually generate revenue. No interest. Uniswap. I could not get this GAN model off Uniswap. There are other DePIN and AI coins I can't get it off. Let me look at this. You want a dip? There was your dip today. I don't even know why it was down. But, you know, it's not a bull market until you can buy a dip and make money. Has anybody ever heard me say that? You got a dip today in a lot of these coins. Like 90-minute chart of Uniswap, right? Okay, this should have been the top. It wasn't. It broke out. It came back. It retested the DeMark line. Now you could probably get 2 more big up candles. That's at a tactical level. Okay, on a daily chart, you have nothing. There's nothing stopping this thing. Nothing, right? It shows that that's the beginning of a trend. And somebody tell me that this is not the bigger the base, the higher in the space. Where is this going if ETH goes to 4,000? Bueller? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? Everyone's like, oh, I can't buy. Oh, fuck, I'm not sharing the screen. Oh, my God. Fuck. Okay. So Uniswap. The bigger the base, the higher into space. The DeMark work, yeah, maybe it's a little overdone on the short-term charts, but there's absolutely, this is like, you look for 9s and 13s. It's like 6 more up days. And you got the dip today. You got the dip today. Let me put the 4-hour chart up. Okay. So this should have been the top. This should have been the top. It's not. You know, 869 is resistance in Uniswap. If it's not a top and it continues to blow through these levels, the entire market looks like this. Right? It went straight down. This is straight down. This straight down, straight down, straight down. 3, actually 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, straight down. Like baby 1, baby 2, where's my big one? You know, all right, let's wrap this up. The Fed has to cut rates. The administration needs a win. It needs a spectacularly huge win. I think this market is out looking for that. Whether they get it or not, I don't know. But people can't wait. You know, the corporations, MicroStrategy, market makers. Michael Saylor loves to buy the high. This goes to 120. He's going to be like, you know what? I'll take it all at 120. I'll take whatever you got. And again, who's bidding this up? My guess is dealers. Dealers are just like, oh my God, these guys are going to come in and we just got to get the supply. So we have to go to the market. I think it's as simple as that. And then there's altcoins where you have to think about sectors and you have to think about the future, right? What does the future look like? And how do I make my future positive? You saw all those things about, you know, all these sovereigns that don't want you to be free. You can be free in crypto. You know, that's the why are we here? Now with the market going up, it's why you shouldn't be afraid. Because everyone's bullish. Everyone is long to a certain degree. But if you just got here, the future is now. That's the market update for today. We will see you tomorrow.